we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Steve, if you'd lead us in a short prayer, I'd appreciate that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, be with us today as we deliberate the business of the county. Help us, Lord, to just keep your teachings in mind and keep the best interests of all of our county residents in mind as we go about our business. Ask all these things, Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right. Have you had a chance to look at the minutes from December 5th, 2023? There have been a couple of questions on that I did fix.
I have. Make motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Motion to approve carries for the minutes from December 5th. Okay, Tony, what else do you have for us?
I have a couple of elected official bonds that only Stan will need to sign after approval. One is the bond for the recorder, Tom Krukenberg, and that is paid in the amount of $100. And then Stan, there's no line for it. I have to sign underneath there once they approve that.
Okay, so accept the motion to
So move.
approve the
Second.
signature on the reported document.
Okay.
Motion carries.
Then we have the public official bond for Clerk Shelley Bright. The cost on that is $218. If what she told me was accurate. And then that only also would require Stan there in the left-hand corner to sign once it's approved.
So moved. Okay.
Tony, do all those come from the same company?
No. Some are Gravers, some are Star, Cincinnati Live, there's different ones.
Why would we not bid those out and have them all come at the same time from the same
I have
company?
no idea. They're all responsible for their own bonds.
Because they're probably all responsible for their own.
They go out, they are responsible to go and get their bond.
Most
From
of
the
these
insurance
fees are set by the state for the most part, and the money would be the same regardless of the customer.
I mean, every month for the, or it feels like every meeting for the last month, we've had a dribble
Well, they
of
come
bonds
in,
we've had to approve.
this is for 2024. I mean, I could wait and do 20 in one meeting if you don't want to see them every other
Well,
meeting.
that would be my preference. I don't know why we should have, I don't know why we should approve two now and
As-
two later. And
As they bring those in, they also have to be recorded. They also have to send a copy back to the insurance company. So as they come in, I just tend to do them.
I'm
But,
okay getting them out of the way. I mean,
It just feels like an odd way to run a railroad to me.
well, if I'm trying to save 20 people's bonds up in my office with the mess that I already have, I'm gonna have to remember which pile I have it in.
So as part of your statutory duty, you must obtain your own bond.
Yes.
Okay.
I think all the 5 constitutional offices have to,
Basically, anybody that handles money.
and they're all different. They're all different amounts.
you got one there?
Then I have to attach, I think we're up to attaching 7 to 9 of them. When I do the annual financial report, I have to go down to the recorder's office and get copies of all of them and attach to our annual financial report to prove that they all have.
I don't know who I even have.
I just, it seems like there ought to be a better way to do it, that's all.
Well, I will definitely look into that. I just don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't know if 20 at a time is better than 2 every other, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be responsible for losing any,
Yeah.
because there's 2 copies of each. Not just one, there's 2 copies that have to be signed. And
So I
sent
did,
out.
do I need to sign both copies?
It's just SOP stuff.
It's different.
No.
SOP
Oh,
or C1.
sure is. We can look into that for next year, Steve.
Yeah.
Not making guarantees, but I'll look into it.
Like I said, it seems like they all ought to come from the same insurance company and they all ought to be submitted to us at the same time.
But I don't know that I don't know if we can make a policy to force the elected officials to go to whatever account, I don't know. I mean, since they're responsible for their own, we'll think about it for next year.
Maybe poke around, see if everybody does it that way.
I'll talk to,
Some of the other counties
I'll
have a
talk
better
to some of the other
plan.
counties.
If they all do it piecemeal like this, I guess that's the way it's done.
I'll ask them, see what how they do. I think some counties might have a blanket bond,
Oh.
but I don't know if I don't know if the blanket bond would cover all the elected officials. That might just cover, like it would cover me, but the blanket bond would cover other people in my office.
Steve was just asking why all of our bonds for constitutional offices all come from different companies. Why they,
I don't know.
And
I mean, I suppose it depends on
they're responsible for their own
who
bonds.
they are. But
I guess the question Steve's wondering is, can we dictate that the public official bonds are sought from one company over another?
Or can they all be obtained through the same process? At
perhaps,
the same time, from the same company through the
Yeah.
same process?
let me check with Carla.
Just kind of once and one is done.
Well, and actually, Carla, it will be Bixler starting in January.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. I can call and find out.
Or I can, I talked to Matt and Dustin quite a bit, so I can ask that.
No, it's not a big deal. I just seemed.
But different offices have different limits that they have to have.
Different amounts they're bonded for, different
Yep.
amount, the higher the bond, the more money they're responsible for. Like Ed's is the most expensive, but.
Yep.
um,
And obviously, I'm not looking to change the coverage. I'm just looking to change the process. Okay.
thanks for looking into that.
I have weekly health insurance claims from Allied. That's in the amount of $71,986.45. Medical was $14,500.36. Pharmacy, $56,595.04, and fixed cost, $891.05. I passed out to you before the meeting what the fixed cost is, because I emailed Michael, because I couldn't remember what he had told me. But that's basically a stop loss premium, a couple other things that are part of the fixed cost that I showed you. Unless you have further questions on that.
All right, any questions on that?
I'll make a motion, we put that in.
Second.
All right,
And I did verify the claimants as well.
motion carries to approve that claim as presented.
Okay, and the only other thing that I had, let's hear this. Sheriff Dan and I talked before the meeting. The EMA Advisory Board is recommending that Barb Lemon be appointed as EMA Director again, starting in '24. We will have either later this month, first part of January, there will be an actual appointment form that would be signed and that she would sign, like all other appointments that you do.
All the other 10,000 appointments.
Yes, so, I mean, if you wanted to approve the recommendation of them, you can do that today, but there's still going to be at some point an official appointment form. So if you want to wait, it's up to you.
Well, and that's something I think we can do kind of as a group too. If we find appointments and you guys usually prepare those, you know, and
I think
then.
Brooke and Angie kind of work on
And
the
then we
appointments.
approve them
Yeah,
as we
they
go
do.
along.
I had Brooke check with Angie this morning, so we're getting the list and we can email it out to you. Take a look at it.
Yeah,
So it's up to you. You now know that the advisory board is recommending that, but it's your appointment to make, so if you'd like to push that off until the list that Brooke and Angie are working on, we can.
sure.
There's nothing today, we just ask that you accept our letter in the public forum as as the recommendation from the EMA LAPC board, which I co-chair. So we don't need the reappointment made today, but just accept our letter to the record.
Yeah, so I would take a motion to accept the letter of recommendation from the EMA board to reappoint Barb Lehrman as director of that department. So,
move. Second.
Thank you.
yeah. And she will be in charge of the solar eclipse.
You said Barbara Lehrman, right? Lehrman? Okay, good.
Yeah. So, yep.
Okay, then official appointment form later then.
All right.
That is all that I have on my list.
Sheriff, did you have anything else for us today?
If I could make the formal recommendation for the new 2 positions of 911 dispatchers. I kind of did it backwards just because of how meetings are done. The council approved the salary for those positions if you guys approve the positions. So I answer any questions you may have. If you didn't hear what I talked about during the council meeting, I can answer any questions you have towards that.
I didn't really hear all the details, but I know you did a lot of comps as far as other departments, the number of employees, in other counties.
Correct.
And the number of employees other counties use and how they do it. So just kind of to sum that up, where are we at?
Okay, the average for full-time dispatchers is 11.7 in the 7 other counties that I looked into that were comparable in size. And we are at 8.
Really?
So adding 2 more put us to 10. It still kind of puts us down a little bit, but this is the need that we have right now. And both of these positions will be nighttime positions because that's where we have the hardest time of filling those positions when someone is off or sick or training, things like that. So that will put us with 3 dispatchers per shift on my 2 squads. That allows then someone to take off, be sick, have training, and I still have 2 other people working, and so I don't have the need to try and scramble and find someone to cover those shifts. And our hardest area to cover is the 10 p to 6 a.m., the third shift basically. And when they work by themselves, that's said to be when it happens. But during that time frame, doesn't mean things don't happen. But one of the most basic fundamental right is going to the bathroom. They have to close the door, have the bathroom door open, have their headset so they can talk on the radio, but they can't answer a phone. And so if 911 calls, it rolls over to Jay County if they don't answer, but Jay County still then calls us. So if they can't get to a phone, that's a problem.
At one time, and I don't know how this was resolved, but the previous sheriff was looking into, and he'd done extensive statistics on emergency versus non-emergency calls, where the non-emergency calls originated from. And there was discussions with the other police agencies in the county, kind of in reference to non-emergency calls. I don't know. Do you remember how that was ever resolved, Mark? Was there, because we even had a meeting with the mayors and city controllers from Geneva, Byrne, and Monroe.
Correct.
But
And basically,
does that affect our need for dispatchers or?
I would say no, because that study, from what I remember, those citizens pay a county tax for the emergency services. What the other administrations were looking at is billing for the non-emergency services.
Right.
But if you looked at those numbers, they're just not that high.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking barking dogs, neighbor complaints.
So it became a non-issue for our dispatchers. So
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't
or
necessarily
not a
affect.
significant issue for our.
Correct, as far as that, no matter what it is, I compare this as a fireman. You pay firemen to stay at the house, be ready to respond when there's a fire. Is there a fire all the time? No. Do I need 3 people in the chairs all the time? Honestly, I can't tell you, yes, I need them 3 at a time. But when I have one go down, illness or vacation or like that, for me trying to keep 2 in the seat, that's where it becomes very hard. And so I have a lot of times they're working by themselves, and that is not optimal. One, because the volume of calls could get slammed, depending on weather, anything else. And second, just the working a straight week by yourself in a room and have very limited contact with other human beings other than on the phone or on the radio, it takes a
Do we
toll.
ever have just one dispatcher in the room?
Yes, we do at night. And it happens from that 10 to 6 time, and that's what I'm trying to alleviate. And these
Sure.
2 new positions will only be night shift operators.
Yeah,
So we can try and maintain that 2 in there.
well, it sure makes sense.
And then during the day, my 2 admin, Don Grimm and Bill Grimm, they help cover those holes during the day.
Right.
Because they still keep all their certifications for those reasons. So the primary or the primary need is that night shift coverage.
What do you guys think?
What have we done then? I mean, how long have we been short?
Years.
Well, what do you,
I mean, how long have we been operating with 8?
actually, we were operating less when I first came in. And so it's been, because they used to run 1 dispatcher all the time. Come in, and I think even Shane, towards the last of his, he's tried keeping 2 in there. So we've been behind for a while, and if you look at the averages, we're still behind 2 people, if you look at that. But like I said, I'm taking baby steps too, because as you heard in the council meeting, we're looking at additional $163,000. The PSAP lit tax, when that comes up and running, with what they transferred out of the 911 funded county general, with adding these 2, it kind of keeps it neutral. We're not really gaining, we're not losing anything, as long as we keep that, what they took out of my budget this last year for this year. If they keep it the same, then it pays for itself. So we've been behind for a while. It's just, this last year when we lost one of the employees for 8 months, it burned them out. I was forcing people to come and work. Like I said, it's fun at first having that extra money, but then after that, it's not fun anymore. When you're getting 1 day off a week, maybe it takes a toll.
In the old jail, there used to be a considerable interaction between the dispatchers and the jail correctional officers. Is that still the case?
No. The separation is much larger. The jail staffing, they still go down there and pick up warrants and things like that, stuff like that, but having,
I mean, the old jail, the dispatchers would have to lock and unlock the doors to hallways.
correct, the jail, central control does all that.
Right.
The dispatchers do
The
not
dispatchers
operate
do not.
doors. Nope, they do not do that anymore. That is all central control's job.
Good. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a good question I can ask. I mean, I've got to rely on, obviously, my preference would be not to hire additional staff, not to put additional positions out there. But if you tell me it's a necessity, I can't.
Like I said, I break it down this way. I would want 4 positions, but I need 2.
I guess-
To cover that. And this is something that will help secure the sanity of my employees and also the safety of our community.
I guess my challenge is in the real world, and I know it's not comparable, but in the real world, I can't afford to have an extra staff person just to cover when somebody's on vacation. You know, I can't afford to have 3 people sitting in a 2-person office, assuming that somebody might be out on vacation and then I can throw that 3rd person in there. I can't afford that. That's not the way the real world works.
And I agree with you, and that's why I kind of go back to the fireman analogy.
You know,
We pay firemen there to be there to take the call. And now, I'm not saying one's not going to be doing anything. There'll be work for them to do. They'll share the work when all 3 of them are working. But honestly, I would say, I would have to say probably 30-40% of the time, there won't be 3 in there, because that allows people to take their PTO time off, sick. Because right now, this last year, I had people coming to work sick just so they wouldn't leave their partner by themselves. And that's not healthy, because that can affect the rest of my department also too.
Are
So
they full-time or part-time?
this will be a full-time, 2
Two.
full-time spots. Yes. My part-time, I have some part-timers, but I don't have good luck keeping them because I can't guarantee my part-time 20 hours a week. Some weeks they get 20. They might go a month and only get 20. So that's why it's hard to keep the part-time, because if my full-time people are working, then I don't have the need for it. But when they took off, so I do believe this will also lower my part-time request for money. And they were talking about that as a council. If you look at my part-time and overtime budget for that, that's about $36,000. So I don't think the part-time will be used as much. So some of that savings then, if I don't use it, it goes back to county general and can help pay for the full-time spots. But there will be a hit with the 2 full-time spots financially.
Would it make any sense at all to think about one position and their job is basically to float between your 2 squads, whoever happens to have somebody out on vacation at the time or out on PTO at the time?
I have thought about that, but the sleep patterns, and then when do they get their days off? Because if I have one on vacation on A squad, usually I allow one on vacation on B squad at the same time. So then where does that one person, who does he float to? It's still leaving you short. We thought about going to a floater and working like a 2A to 2, or 2P to 2A. And then they can float and make that coverage and then have to bump back to 6 to 6. It's not that big of a jump. But again, your schedule's never set and who wants to work the 2P to 2A. I mean, if I found the right person, it'd be great, but we haven't found that person yet because we have tried that already in the past.
Just feels to me like if 60% of the, if 30 to 40% of the time, there's only going to be 2, 60% of the time, there's going to be 3. And we know that 3 is 1 too many, 1 more than you need. So I don't know, it feels like overkill to hire 2 people to fill a position that is only necessary when you've got somebody out on PTO or somebody on
When
PTO.
it's PTO sick, and that's where it's not planned. PTO is somewhat planned usually. Vacation is planned, but the sickness is not planned. And like I said, we have tried doing that swing shift before and it's brutal for someone trying to work that and then switch back and forth. And I lost one over it. One of my dispatchers was there less than a year. That was part of the reason she quit because the scheduling, it was not consistent.
Well, I don't want you to call me to have to go in there at 2 a.m. to answer those calls. So I guess I'll make a motion to approve sheriff's request.
Second.
All right, I'd vote in favor of that too, so,
Thanks,
yeah. So, but, that's tough. You're right. When you're down there by yourself and whether it's going to the bathroom or working sick or whatever, that's tough. And the dispatcher isn't something that we can live without, because when somebody makes the call, they expect somebody to be there. And it's good and I think if you can make effective use of part-time people, that's excellent. But I know it's very difficult for a part-time person to keep up on all the certifications that they have to keep up on to sit at that desk.
Yeah, like one of our part-time people, we end up letting go because she hadn't been in and worked anything since we switched over to Flex. And that was back in May. Because of her scheduling, it just wasn't right. And then basically she doesn't want to even try and come into work because she wouldn't know how to do anything. And then we're spending time training her.
Yeah.
This will be a huge benefit to the communications department. There's no doubt about that.
Do you think you'll have any trouble finding somebody?
I don't think we're going to find somebody with 16 years experience like we just did. That was a fluke thanks to Geneva hiring an officer back from this area. So, but we've had pretty good luck. We really have. So, we will put out the word and then we'll start looking at it for after the first of the year.
I don't know.
Any other questions? Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Thank you.
3. Hey, Dan, PTO is paid time off, right?
Correct.
That's what I thought, okay.
Hey, what?
Relax, change it.
Well, one thing, Brad, I ain't gonna call you the county engineer anymore, so sorry about that. So, but yeah, what do you have for us?
I thought I was gonna have to be the county attorney today.
Oh,
In for you.
oh, yeah. Well, we're still
You can.
waiting on Mark to tell us the baby announcement, so. Not in a while.
Mark didn't have one.
Okay, I was gonna say, is there something going on? So basically, what I've got is these are tabulation sheets, all those we opened up last year. Betsy did an awesome job, went through, put them all of them in there in somewhat order. This makes it a lot easier for you to read.
I don't have to pull out my.
No, this one here.
couldn't keep up with them as you
No, I
guys were
know.
opening them up.
That's why we do this every year. Betsy puts them all in the right order and all that good stuff. I don't know if you want one of these or not.
What is the important?
You guys didn't keep up last week?
Oh, this was the thing you had last?
Yeah, all those we opened up last week. Betsy just put them in order.
I
see.
Nice.
It's all the prices and that, but.
You guys have them all. Okay.
So the one thing I would like to note, before we can go ahead and I guess you guys need to accept these, I guess. Then we can discuss them a little. So basically, my understanding, like we've done in other years, we accept all the bids.
Take a
That allows
motion
us
to
be able to go
accept
everywhere.
all the bids as presented. Anyway.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I got one question before I.
Yep.
On the fuel, National Oil gave us a bid on that Phil Alliance and.
So that's,
They never did,
we
so,
never did before. This is the first year they are now interested.
okay, so, if we accept all the bids, then that means we're only accepting National Oil, since them other two never give us no bid.
Yeah, that's.
How do you, I mean, if
I'm
we're
not-
gonna accept the bids,
I hope Mark can help me
On the annual
explain.
bids, you accept the bids submitted, but I don't think that prevents you from contracting with another vendor because you always call for pricing
Yes.
at the time of.
but if they never submitted a bid,
I think you can still use other vendors. You can still open it up and
They'll
take
still set pricing?
RFPs.
Yeah, we're not locked in with them. Next year, though, we're gonna do a few things different on this. Should help clarify some of the questions.
I
Yeah,
didn't want-
nope. No, this won't knock anybody out. We're not locked in. It's just them. If that's kind of what you want.
okay.
Because that was one of the, oh, I'm sorry, let you finish your motion.
I'll second that motion
Okay,
under that understanding that, because that would knock everybody else's fuel bids out.
yeah. Yep.
Okay, motion carries to accept the bids.
So like that there, one of the other things too that's tough is, as far as the fuel providers, for them to lock in a price for a whole year would be almost impossible. So there'd have to be some other wording that would need to be done in there possibly like maybe next year when we kind of clarify a few things on this. That would address more of that.
And even this, like say on Two Common, we've got 4 bids on that with one substantially lower than the others. I mean, you're still going to use the most practical source, even though it may not be the lowest price.
Correct. And there again, this just allows us to go to any
You're not
of
gonna
these.
drive 40 miles to go get $6 stone when
Correct.
you can go 2 miles to get $12 stone.
That is correct.
Like I say, my main concern was
Yeah.
that fuel bid.
Yep. So the other thing also though, just in going forward, we knew it was gonna go up. And if you look at, on the list there, like the 1/2-inch chips, that's what we use for a chip seal. So that's a high quantity. But then you look at like 9s and 11s. So those are all considered a wash stone. So basically it's more of a common size and you don't get near the fines in it. So you got this whole pile that's basically the same size. Those are the higher priced ones because it takes a little more to get them to that point, which is understandable. Those that went up $1.20 from last year. From 22 to 23, they went up $1.35. So in the last 2 years, we're $2.55. I'm sorry, I should back up. From U.S. Aggregates. It's went up $2.55 in the last 2 years. And if you look at the other quarries, they followed suit, around that $1.20, could be $1. Now our stone we use a lot of to put on the roads, like the number 73s and the number 53s. They've only went up 45 cents. But that product doesn't take as much to make because it's got the fines in it, it's got the big stuff in it. But I just kind of want to point that out to you guys because that's one thing, we're
we're gonna sit down and talk with our sales representative from US Ag. They're the ones we get majority of our stone from. And just maybe talk a little bit about this, because that's a big price jump in 2 years and the amount of stone we use. And because of the amount of stone we use, they do give us a better price supposedly, so. I just want to give you guys a heads up, it's taken a big jump in the last couple of years.
So when you come up and you establish a need, you would call each one of these providers and get their spot price then as far as what?
No, the stone prices, now them are good for a whole year.
So those prices are locked in.
Those are locked in for a whole year,
Okay.
correct. And also like on the other page too, the paving's a different animal again. We've talked with Mark's office about the paving and that. But like on the back, the crack seal, the slurry seal,
Yeah.
those prices are locked in also.
Okay.
Yeah, the stone prices are locked in for a whole year until we do this again next year. So there you go. You got something to study, I guess. And, you know, price is per ton. And our trucks haul, 10 to 20 ton, depending on single axle, tandem axle, and that. And just as a heads up, or informational, like when we chip and seal, we use about 10,000 tons of those half-inch chips. So the only other thing I have is I wanted to thank you gentlemen for allowing us to purchase the dirt burner that you allowed us to purchase. Once we got to the point where we could get going and the weather's been cooperating, we have done 50 miles of dirt burning, cutting the edge off the side of the road. So 101 lane miles, both ways. We do both sides. That's 50 miles. That's more than what has been done in I don't know how long. So I just wanted to thank you gentlemen
It's
for
pretty
allowing.
efficient, does a good job.
9 to 11 miles per day,
Yeah,
but I thank you. That's made a huge difference. I had a lot of comments from people. They see it.
Sure.
And they realize it gets the water off the road. It just seems to open things up.
Cleans it up.
It cleans it up. They look they look whiter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah,
That's all I got.
very good. All right, thanks, Brad. All right, Rick, did you have anything for us?
Yeah. Well, something in the future, I'd like to have 2 more custodians, but I'd settle for 1. Just something you guys to think about.
I saw you got Yolanda's back to work.
She is back half days.
Okay,
Until after Christmas.
yeah. Oh, good. How's she doing?
Good. I think she's tired after her 4 hours, but she's doing really well.
Good.
Last meeting, I had brought to your attention that I was approached by IT
Can
needing.
I back you up for a little bit?
Sure.
When you talk about additional employees, probably one of the things that I would look for is to budget that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's anything that you budgeted for 2024.
So you were serious? I thought you were just joking because we just gave the sheriff two additional employees.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know, I took you as serious too. I don't know if you are. but-
No, I would not, but consider it. Just-
Okay, but you have not budgeted that for 2024. Okay.
Now, if you tell me that the only reason is because so they can have a bathroom break, I'm gonna have a hard time with that.
It's when they have something surgery. No.
Yeah,
Is that it?
yeah, that was my only, yeah.
As I started saying, the new power room where the UPSs are, I had mentioned last week that they had came to me, so it was very warm in there. It's probably 30% capacity. This was something that Mike had came to me about, and I got quotes. I have two quotes here. One is for the AC unit for that room, and then the other one is getting the cold air duct and 2 more registers where those new racks went into the server room. So I'll give you 2 quotes here. One thing Mike had mentioned to me, I went to him. He does have money in a line item for this. I wrote it on here. And this is something that he would obviously like to get started on yet this year.
So, are you still seeing the power room as the same project as the server room, or are you separating those?
I'm separating these two.
Okay,
Okay, so the power room would be the AC unit.
okay,
And then while they were here, I would just get those ductwork cut in
okay.
for that server room.
Is there a reason that we'd ever, foreseen this, knowing that they would heat up and didn't put that in when we?
The original design of that power room, we thought of not putting a ceiling in it. And as the project went on in that room, and obviously that heat would have just evaporated. But to finish it off and get good lighting in there, the decision was made to put a ceiling in that room. I think you've been in that room, it just can't escape. So that's where we're at.
We just need to cut holes in the ceiling.
We can do that. We should put vents in there.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Ceiling fans.
in some sense, just the pigeon carrier here was brought to me that this needs to be done. So I went and got quotes.
So let's hear the number.
Well, and that's kind of why I asked if those were separated, because with the power room, that is a building maintenance issue, where the server room is an IT issue.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just to
Yeah, to you. This one here is getting the cold air return and the vents.
How about this is another 20,000? This is adding the two together.
Yeah, I added it together.
That was a pretty expensive ductwork job.
That is a 3-ton unit, just because of future state that may go in there.
So would we have been okay, Rick, do you think, if we just wouldn't have put that ceiling in there? Would there have been enough air escape out of there
I
that we
think
would,
so.
that we could have avoided a
Probably.
$20,000 expenditure?
I wouldn't say yeah, but
I'm not saying we didn't need ceiling in there, but I'm just trying to think if air exchange is the issue, do we need $20,000 air conditioner, or do we need ventilation versus air conditioning? If we need ventilation, is that our ceiling exhaust type fans an option?
well, I mean, it's something that we could
I don't,
certainly try, but
tight ass in me.
And it says electrical, so this is a $22,000 bill, and then we have electrical by others. So that's not even the total bill.
well, what I did, thinking ahead, in case this happened, there will be a little bit electrical, but I had Gene, when he was in there, run electric.
Okay.
He would just have to bring down.
Okay.
So the bulk of that electrical work is done, just in case. Why, so.
And the good news is the UPSs, the power room is not as temperature sensitive as the server room.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, and I certainly would agree with that, from my experience.
Did we, you don't think that ventilation fans would take care of this?
Well, I mean, maybe it would work in the ceiling. I don't know. What they're doing now is during working hours, they're leaving the door open, sucking the air out. But maybe, I don't know, Steve, maybe vents would help alleviate it. I don't know, in the ceiling.
Is there a place for the air to go? If it was exhaust, where would the air go? Up into the
Well, right
ceiling? Is there
now,
a cavity there or what?
It would just go up above the room, but keep in mind, the other portion of that room, if it was ever finished, I guess it would go up over the top of that, because that would definitely be another server room. That would have a ceiling in it.
Okay. We don't want to exhaust that heat over into the,
Yeah,
Spare
you'd be on
server
top-
room.
You'd be on top of that.
yeah, it wouldn't be a good idea, would it?
No.
So this is out of fund,
This is out of Fund 1,000, and the account number he gave me, 42904 0009600.
Annex IT construction. So that's kind of why I asked you if we're separating that out, because the power room was built to accommodate the changes to the server room. But so the power room won't necessarily have any IT equipment in it.
No,
So,
but that is IT functional equipment in there.
because we've got the new panels, we've got the generator switches, and we've got the uninterrupted power supplies in that room. But we don't have any actual servers or switches or,
Just the UPS.
so that power room will be the power room for the entire building and all that it serves.
Yes.
So, so I don't know if that's kind of misconstrued a little bit to use the annex IT construction.
So on that other side, if we put a ceiling in, we're gonna have to put air conditioner in like this too.
There would have to be,
So if we see that now, if we decide to go this way, why can't we just do that now? That way that's done. And, you don't have to come back in and mess up everything to reconstruct everything.
well, this unit here is either gonna be a wall unit that'll fit or a ceiling unit. The other one's got like an air handler, so that other room over there, it's got, actually, there's 4 condensers that run that IT. 2 of them will run at once, and then they'll turn around and go. What we did to accommodate that is make room to add, if we needed to, outside and inside.
I guess I'm almost kind of wondering that power room, instead of taking it out of the IT budget, like 1140 Cume Courthouse, we've got $338,000 in there.
Well, I don't see that. I don't have access to that anymore, so this is where Mike's suggesting to take it from. But if you have somewhere different.
Yeah.
You'll just need to know what line these guys would like to take it from when he sends the invoice in, because this can be changed
I
here.
just wrote on there, Tony, what
Yep.
he presented, so.
It'll be up to
Yeah.
you and Mike to submit the claim.
This job hasn't been ordered yet though, has it?
Yeah. Nope. It will be if you approve it, as soon as I get out of here.
Yeah, I guess I'm not questioning so much it's needed. I'm just saying that it's not necessarily an IT expense. It's an annex. I don't know, but maybe I'm overthinking that source, but.
Take that IT annex, he can't speak for him, but was for if he needed some revamping of rooms or whatever it was. I think that's why he budgeted what he budgeted in that account. Last I see.
Yeah, because there's no doubt there were sister projects.
Yeah,
You know, the power room was created to accommodate the additional needs in the server room, but
yeah.
the power room itself was also a separate project to accommodate the new generator and the new panels to serve the entire building, not just the IT. So that's the only reason I question that. Cause even 1138, we've got 321,000 in there. That's Cume Cow. I was looking at Fund 1000. Let's see, that 42,904. There's still a balance of there, and I can see why you would want to take it out of there. There's an unexpended in that line item of 65,434 in that line item. So I don't know, I guess at this point, we need to decide if it's necessary to do this, which it sounds like it is to protect the components in that room.
We gotta get,
So,
we don't have any numbers listed yet. Numbers. That later.
so there's money in both. I mean, in 42,904, like I say, there's 65,434, 61 in that line item. So there's money there to do that. But there's also money in the Cume funds also, so. And if Mike is willing to take that out of his budget, because that's the 2023 budget, so.
I guess I'll make a motion to approve. Coming out of the IT budget.
42,904.
Yeah, you're taking it out of,
42,904, the IT budget, the IT construction budget. I guess I would like to protect those Cume funds as best we can for larger projects.
Okay.
I mean, this is
Mike's all right with
tail end of
taking
a
it out
big
of that.
project.
I got this from him.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, I'll second that.
You
All right.
approving both?
Yeah, my motion is for both of them combined, 21,000. Makes sense to do that ductwork while we're in here.
580.76.
21,580.76.
21,580.77.
Yes.
21,580.77. That's for both.
Did you get the, oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'd vote in favor of that
I'll just
also.
wait for the invoice to come in.
And what that's for, that's a new AC unit.
We'll get numbers later after the meeting. We don't have them yet. And the companies too.
Steve, I'll just give this to you. I gave Steve one of these. You didn't get one, you were in conversation.
All right.
And that's just from Barb about this facility being heating and cooling.
What is that? 21,587, that's changed. But we don't have the companies.
I think the consensus was, is really not doing anything with that until we get our generator completed.
Right. Yeah, I think that'll be nice to have this building available as a, both a cooling shelter and then a storm shelter. And so,
And then her questions down there, I guess we can go over that at a later time.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And I think those questions are valid, whether we're thinking about heating, cooling, or storm, tornado, whatever. I think those are just questions we need answers to.
Yeah.
But if you see, I had told her that I saw with you, that's on that. And then, our generators functioning every item in this building. Yes. Present. But it would be.
But I mean, over the last couple of years, we have put a lot of money in this building. Between the roof, the elevator, the generator, the IT, the security locks, you name it, to make this building as functional as possible. So if we can use it as an emergency shelter, I think it behooves us to do that.
Coach had a council member just today sitting down with me, going over any future state things, asset wise, that we may want to do in these facilities. An example, our boilers here are about 25 years old. I think I'll last another 5 or 10, I don't know. But something that maybe- That's what I was told to about. So I'm just letting you know.
Good. I think it's valid that we be thinking about those things and almost put them on a replacement schedule. Not that we would pull the trigger on it, but
Yeah.
things like that, that you're aware of, that we are not and that the council is not. Be great if we had those on a schedule somewhere that says, we think sometime in the next 10 years, we're going to have to do this.
Yes, I have a pretty good list for that
Good.
right now.
Just like the printer copiers,
Yeah,
putting
similar
them
to
on a
that.
replacement schedule
Yeah.
Yeah,
every year.
it's the same thing, just like our Mitsubishi units over at the courthouse.
Yeah.
They're old,
Yeah.
you know, heating, cooling. We've already replaced one boiler over there. We did that last Christmas Eve because it went out. But things like that.
So you're saying you want us to actually plan ahead?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
But like you said, Steve, we may not use it. But
No, it's not to say that we're going to replace something that's working just fine, but certainly would be helpful, thinking about those cum cap,
yeah,
cum funds. Be nice if we knew we were saving for the roof that we just replaced over the last 5 years, knowing that roof was on its last few years.
yeah.
And we've got money that we're beginning to accumulate to knock that out.
I was very elated that he came to me and asked me about it. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Well, and even like in the highway department, I mean, if we know that we've got bridges on a schedule, you budget for those bridges, whether it's rehab or replacement, and it's gotta be the same way with our other facilities too.
And I think we kind of put money aside for that. We just don't really have a schedule or a plan as to how we're going to spend that money.
Like you're gonna replace the servers in 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The roof, we got a brand new roof. Well, maybe that's a 30-year or 25-year plan. That's way out there, but it's on a schedule somewhere. And 15 years from now, somebody's going to say, oh, that roof's 15 years old. When are that's doing?
That's like the boilers there. I know, I'll get specifics, but I know they're at least 25 years old.
Yeah. Those are scary.
5 years, we're at 30, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and it'd be nice if we were replacing those in the summer and not in the winter.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Mark, I just seen your email a little while ago on the, LED for the buildings. Yeah, I mean, we have need, as things have been going out like ballast and different things, I've been changing everything over to LED and keeping track of it. But yeah, absolutely.
I just wondered if there is grant money available,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then if we put a project together to use it, there may be some local match, but if there's grant money available to do a larger conversion that we save money.
Yeah. Which absolutely.
Well, and I think we've been approached about that, and it was kind of more in conjunction with the company that wanted to put solar on it. He's like, okay,
Yeah,
put
well, that
solar
was,
on your roof, we'll make more efficient boilers, we'll change to LED lighting.
that was a massive
It
project.
was the whole
Yeah.
package.
And but this is something where you could get, if you got $100,000 grant and you could do this building and then save, on your monthly electric, then
That probably is something else that has been on my mind. I've been thinking about this countywide planning thing. I know there's some grants available for that, and who's going to write the grants and who's going to know they're out there. And I know Tony's kicked around a little bit of grant management software, some software that may help us. And, is there a need or an opportunity if we had an Adams County grant writer that was available to everybody? I know we have different departments that write grants, and some departments are better than others, and how we manage that whole grants animal to me is interesting and challenging. I don't know whether there's an opportunity there to do that more efficiently. I'm sure there is. I just don't know what the right answer to that is. Whether that's a service that we deploy or whether we're already, my understanding is that this Northeast Indiana Regional Coordinating Council, NERC, I think it's referred to as, does some grant writing and we're members there, so maybe we can utilize their services. And the whole grant writing thing to me is kind of a big mystery, how we skin that cat.
I'll send an email to Nate, because he's done a lot of those.
Right.
And so it might be something where, and some of those grants applications are not that complicated.
Some of them just one page.
Yeah.
It's a matter of knowing they're out there and what the
Yeah.
deadlines are
Yeah.
and having some person that's kind of runs point
Steve,
on it.
before you got on the commissioners, there was a local gentleman that does do
I
grants.
happened to sit in on that presentation, I think it was before I was
I
setting up
think it
here,
ended
but
up being kind of the way that it was going to be cost prohibitive because there was a big blanket cost and we weren't sure how many grants would actually fit our needs. It was like a one, if you remember that. But yeah, I think the thing could be looked into a little more. I'm not sure. If you hire an ombudsman, I'm not sure what that cost would be. A lot of them just get a percentage of the grants that they get a $100,000 grant, they get a percentage of that as their pay. That's how some of them do it. But
I'll send an email to
yeah,
Nate.
thanks, sorry.
All right, thanks, Rick.
A little bit of a tangent there, Rick.
No, that's. All right, Ed, did you have anything for us?
Mine is gonna be quick. Yes, I do. Taxes still coming in, everything's going good. They're slowing down considerably. There's certificate sale Tuesday, January 30th, right here at 1 o'clock. We have 5 parcels. Mark's working on one to see what we're gonna do with that one. That's what I don't know through.
Mhm.
Okay. I need to set a date for our financial planning meeting. That's our annual meeting. We do in January by statute of every year. If you look at your calendars, if you want to keep it on a Tuesday, the 2 best dates for me would be either the 2nd or the 16th. The 30th would be okay. The 9th is a council meeting. I'm not guessing you'd want to do it on the same day as that.
We won't have a meeting that day.
Yeah, we've changed our calendar.
Oh, so you're wide open?
No, we are not.
I know you guys changed that. The 23rd does not work for me. So 2nd, 16th, or the 30th?
I don't know why the 16th wouldn't work.
Yeah.
16th works for me.
Okay, easy enough.
what time?
We'll do that at 9 a.m. prior to your regular commissioners meeting.
And that is the finance, what's the official finance committee?
Yes, Financial Planning Committee. I'll have everything ready for that. Then the final thing I have, thank you guys. The final thing I have is I would like to ask permission to close the treasurer's office for a little Christmas luncheon for my staff on either Monday, December 18th, or Tuesday, December 19th. Done that in previous years for 60 to 90 minutes. I planned 90 and it's never takes that long. Put a note on the door that go see Tony.
Yeah, I don't know which would be more convenient for you. I mean, it wouldn't affect anything as far as our meeting or
No.
how that goes, so. I don't know if you have any thoughts, preference.
Do it on the 16th, and if you do it later, the commissioners can come.
Boy, oh boy, that.
I'm not
Ed,
sure,
you're buying? Is that?
See, we went through this last year. Come on.
I'm not sure we were invited.
know, that's what I'm saying.
See, and I'm kind of dancing around that use today too.
Yeah.
So if it's okay, I'm going to go on Tuesday, the 19th, and we'll plan until after your meeting will be over. If you'd like to come, you're more than welcome to come. And yes, I would buy your lunch. So Tuesday, the 19th. That's all I have. Unless you have
Just trying, I don't know how, I forget how you do that as far as advertising that.
I don't
Just put a
think
note on the
it's in the
door.
minutes, but they'll put a note on the door that comes to the office.
Hey, Ed, there's no time on that yet. Just eventually, like 12 to 1:30 or?
No.
Okay, I didn't know you had to.
Yeah.
16th, we would have a scheduled drainage board meeting that day.
I was wondering about that. Yeah. We better change that to the second.
Second or the
Well,
30th.
the second, we would have one there also. The 30th, we would not have a scheduled drainage board meeting.
Then we better change that to the 30th.
30th.
When's your certificate sale?
The certificate sale is the 22nd. But that's at 1 o'clock.
So we're changing that to the 30th.
So you're changing the financial planning committee to the 30th?
Yes. Is that?
Okay.
Okay.
And the 28th is the sale, correct?
Tuesday, that's in December.
Oh, December 28th.
Oh, wait a minute. Certificate sale Tuesday, January 30th at 1 o'clock. So we will do both the financial planning at 9 a.m., your regular commissioners meeting, then you will take a break for lunch with me, I suppose, invite me, and then we'll come back and do the financial planning.
Okay.
No, we'll do that at 9 a.m. We'll come back for the certificate sale then at 1 o'clock. So we'll do them both on the same day.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Ed, I
Thank you.
tried to get a hold of that guy at SRI and I'm just not getting through to him.
Jason Puckett, I talked to, he was actually in the office yesterday.
Can you have
I
him
was
get a
wondering
hold of me?
about that.
Because I think we want to put that tract in the certificate sale.
It's already on there.
Is it? Yeah, it's- okay, good, yes.
We could actually pull it that morning if we have to.
I think we wanted to run it through the certificate.
Okay, if we want to
Because-
listen through, it's
yes.
already advertised.
Perfect.
Everything will be
Because
fine.
that shortens everything.
We just gotta need to make sure we have our ducks in a row in case somebody else
Yep.
jumps in there.
Yep.
All right, anything else, Ed?
I don't have anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mark, what do you have for us today?
We've got,
Yeah,
oh, sorry.
no, that's all right, unless you want to go ahead. We got the good looking Mark out here, so.
Both look like.
You could say gray haired Mark, but that gets us confused
Yeah,
there.
that doesn't identify anything.
All right, first one is a subdivision, 700 south, 300 west on the corner. This ground right here, which was owned by Art Nussbaum, subdivided into a minor subdivision of 3 lots. Got the distances in buildings and 1, 2, 3 lots, all with road frontage.
Good.
Pretty simple.
Okay.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion carried.
Where is this located here?
300 west, 700 south,
700 south.
northeast corner.
Okay, and what, how many acres?
There's 3 lots, one's 12 acres, one's 12.3, and one's 12.
Okay. Okay. So what's? Maybe 6.3. Change some things. Planning is 30. Equipment's in the other stuff. I just, yeah. Oh, that.
Thanks, sir.
Then just the annual or not annual, monthly report. You got the exact same number for minutes last month as the year prior. You can see that we're up to 494 permits. We've never ever looked at 500,
Really?
but we will this year.
Do the permits out in the meadows of Cross Creek show up in the city or in the county?
Meadows of Cross Creek, I assume that's city.
Must be city.
The ones that still are weird to me that look like they would be in a city lot that never got taken in are the ones that are on Pickle Road, around the Church of Latter-day Saints, all that housing addition up in there,
Oh, those never got taken in?
that's all us.
They got city water though. City sewer.
All the rest of the stuff that has been done, at least since then, or since I've been here for 10 years, the next in as they did.
Cause I know I've got calls from people out there asking why their water bill was so high.
Oh, really?
I said, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the water company. Not us. Yep.
Need a motion to put this in record.
Yeah.
So move.
Second.
Mark, I got one thing up here real quick if you want. All righty. Thank you.
Yep.
We do have, Vernon, you're in the back of the room. I've seen you come in different times and didn't get a chance to talk to you. Is there anything you wanna, speak to us about, or especially, you know, while Mark's here, anything?
I retired from my truck driving job. I'm working on cleaning up, regaining.
Okay. All right, yeah, I just thought, well, I know you've been in several times and I didn't wanna just overlook you and not,
When I was driving, I could never be here.
okay.
It's not any contact with Mark since we were all there in May. Just hope he wanted to tell you something.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've got any updates on that, situation or anything we need to act on. Mark, do you know anything as far as updates on contracts or anything, with, cleanup out at,
I've been calling every week,
okay,
so we're trying to get it lined up.
okay. That's all I need to know. All right, thank you, Mark. All righty. All right, Mark, you have anything else for us?
Couple things. We've got an amendment to the contract for services at Golden Meadows for the administrator. She formed an LLC and she just wants the payments to be made to the LLC. And so that's a simple amendment. So we've added that. And then also we've added in the retention or added in the contract completion bonus that was approved by the council upon successful closure of Golden Meadows homes. That's added in as well. So just need a motion to approve this agreement, get it signed, and then I'll give it to Shannon and she can have Brenda sign it. So then payments will be made to the LLC instead of her individually.
So move.
Second.
There's two of those. Let's send those down. Two of them. And then we've got our order back from the Indiana Election Division that approved the precinct establishment order that was approved and signed by the commissioners either last week or the week before. And now we need to publish notice, so I've got instructions here on how to publish. And Tony, I need a copy of that actual order that the commissioners signed, because I need to see what we said. specifically. I don't know if I may have.
I think the clerk took that back because she was going to use that for the publications.
Do we have one on file?
I'll have to check to see if I
We
gave
should.
Angie to scan.
I should have one.
I just took one out of my folder this morning before I came in.
I'll check when I get up.
Okay, I just need to get that because we've got to get it published here.
Because I know I asked her specifically at the meeting, I said, are you publishing it all, or you want us, she said she was going to take care of it.
Well, I'll call her. I've got
If you don't come up with one, I'm pretty sure I got one at home.
This is what she gave us. Tony. Is that what he's looking for? Is that
Oh.
order right there?
And I think she took that with her. I don't
Do you
think
need
I
to sign one or that you need the?
Well, I think that's probably it. There's some
Yeah,
language in here that I'm
I
looking
think
for.
when she said that she was taking care of it, I think I just let her have it.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd have at home too.
That's copy. Yeah. Yep, I
I
got it.
I don't think she left me with a copy, but I'll, when I get up there.
Yeah, so this order becomes effective upon approval. These precincts by Indiana Election Division. Yeah, okay, so that's good. It's it's automatically effective, so that's what I was looking for. So that's good.
Because I think that was part of the question was how much of it she had to advertise.
Yeah,
Because it was such a.
I've got that answer. Thank you.
Shannon, you get this or Johnson.
You give it to her.
So Mark, the state approved that? The state has approved it. Okay, good. I want to be sure I have that.
Yeah, so I'll get with the clerk and make sure it's published.
All right.
That's all I've got.
Good.
I don't think I took that. I think Shelley took it. And she said, we give me a copy when it was all done or something.
Okay.
I think she's at an election conference with Cassie until the 13th.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, Clayton's a daddy.
Oh,
Really?
great.
The boy or girl?
Girl.
Really?
Good deal.
About 3:00 this morning.
That's your son? Okay.
No, that's,
No.
that's my.
Clayton
law-
language.
Clayton Language, my law partner.
Okay. His wife, I didn't know that. Okay.
She was due on the 22nd. We had
Maybe not Clayton.
we had a pool in the office. Everybody picked dates. I think Jeremy won because he said the 11th. At,
What's he gonna name it? What's the name?
although I guess technically we bid the 12th because it's 3 a.m. They went in yesterday about 11 o'clock. So it was a long ordeal.
Long labor.
What's the name? They got a name? What did they got in the collar?
Yeah, it's,
Is it Mark?
Oh, it's a boy.
it is.
I think they were gonna name her Eric.
Erica?
Erica, there you go.
It's a girl. I'm sorry, Erica. Okay. C or K. It's spelled different ways.
Oh.
CK sometimes too.
Oh, that's neat. He'll be a
It's
good.
Maroney Joe Langridge.
What was his name?
What was it?
Maroney Joe Langridge,
Okay.
Maroney.
Maroney.
That's unusual.
Maroney. Probably be, yeah,
Huh. Yep. Different name.
so yeah, he's, it's a new day. The world is different.
That's cool.
Well, never be the same now.
World. Yep,
Yeah, that is a long labor though.
yep. So
Cool.
I think my date was, I think I said the 17th. So I was way off.
Not one of those schools where you have to be, you can't be over.
No, it will be over. I think all of ours were born within 24 hours of their due date.
That right.
Yep,
We had one on leap day.
really.
Yeah. Or
His
3 in the
birthday every
morning,
4 years.
3 in the morning on leap day, yep.
Be good.
So,
I think
All
it
right.
was- I think my middle, my daughter Reagan, she was born in 1998, and I remember being in, I think we were up at Parkview. And that, when she was in labor, that is when Bill Clinton was president, and that Congress on the TV was voting to impeach him. At the same time, we were bombing, what was it, Kosovo, or we were bombing Serbia. Yeah. That was a wild time. I just remember that. It was switching between the impeachment and the bombing and Bosnia. And then, I don't know, do you know the Star Dental Lab that's over on Second Street? Right next to Missy's Prestige Realty. So Star Dental Lab, his name is it's hard to pronounce, Tufo Amitovich. And his daughter was born the same day as my daughter Reagan in Germany, because they had just fled Bosnia
Really?
for Germany. He fought for a year in that war, and then they got out, they fled to Germany, and their daughter was born.
Same day.
His wife's parents were teachers, and they were both murdered.
Ooh.
And as part of that whole thing. And then they got out of Germany, and one of the churches in Bern sponsored them, and they moved to Bern. And he was like a second-year dental student at the time in Bosnia, and then he came over here, and he couldn't finish his education because it didn't carry over to the United States. He started working over at the dental lab in Bluffton. Stolers, and he worked his butt off over there for years, and then he started his own dental lab, and he's been very successful.
And my daughter went to school with his daughter.
Yep.
Very good.
So anyway,
Well, and then his wife finished, I think she was in chemistry or something, and then she got her nursing degree, and then she got her bachelor's, and then she got her PhD in nursing home administrator, and I think now she's the administrator for Woodcrest.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, they were both
PhD degree.
very, very driven.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hard workers, yeah.
He knows how to make the best lamb.
He's gonna laugh, huh?
All right.
Shannon, have anything for us?
Shannon?
I don't have anything today.
Okay.
Thank you.
One of the things that we did talk about, we enacted a policy last week. Tuesday. And so since then, we've had a security meeting with Clayton in attendance. And that was executive session. And the sheriff was there, and Judge Conrad was there, and Steve Bailey and I and Tony. And we've had some discussions about that policy. And one of the things that came out of it was we may want to reconsider that policy. So I don't know if at this time it would be better. We talked about setting up another session in January to review that and rediscuss it. So I don't know if in the meantime it would behoove us to rescind that amendment to the firearms amendment to that policy, or what do you gentlemen want to do until we get it? Because I know Clayton kind of said you and he talked about it. Maybe we need to rethink that a little bit.
Yeah, and we got some information from Matt Lehman. I'm looking at the statute, so we need to reevaluate.
So we need to rescind that.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
We're just talking about the firearms piece of that policy change that we made last
Yeah.
week.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking for
Okay,
anyway.
I would second that motion to rescind that policy.
Okay,
We'll think about that a little more.
okay, and then we'll readdress that at some point in January.
Okay.
That'd be a
Good deal.
3-0 vote.
Yes, I will vote to rescind that also. Yeah.
Good.
So, all right. Any progress on the property at Northwest? as far as a closing on that at all?
I don't know I know Clayton's working on that.
Okay.
That should close soon. So I think they've got a,
Do we need to do that like in our meeting here, or how do we do that? Or do we just authorize?
no, when it's ready to close, I'll let you know, and then we'll have you go over to, it'll probably close over at Ann's office. Just
Okay.
like similar to what we did on the sale of the farm ground, we just need to
Gotcha.
go over there.
All right. Very good. I appreciate it. Anything from the general public? All right. Accept a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.